Whether you're looking for new hunting ground or simply fresh takes on your go-to spots, HuntWise Maps has you covered. To get started, we're going to open the HuntWise app and then navigate to the mapping tab. Now, once I'm in there, there's a few different ways to move around, if you will. You can simply use your finger to scroll around if you want. There's also two other options. If you're trying to navigate to directly where you're at, the fastest way to do that is going to be to use your phone's GPS. And if you click the button in the bottom right-hand corner that looks like an arrowhead, that'll bring you directly to where you currently are, or at least where your GPS thinks you are. The other way is to go up into the top right-hand corner and click GPS. Now, this is a way that I like to use if I'm going out of state, or if it's just some place that's further away and I happen to know the coordinates. If I type in some known coordinates, what it'll do is going to bring me to that exact location. Now, when it comes to longitude, in the US, that's going to be a negative number. So if you delete all those numbers and happen to delete that negative symbol, I have a quick, simple fix for that. Once you type in your longitude, you simply just hit the Make Negative button above the keypad. Then hit Go to Location. That's going to zoom out and zoom back into that location you currently typed in. Now, once we're there, let's dive a little bit deeper in the different map layers. The second button down is going to be the Map Layers button, and that's going to bring up all your options for your base layers, your nationwide layers, and your state layers. If I click on Change Map Type under Basic Satellite, you'll see a bunch of different options pop up. I can click on HuntWise Pro Satellite, and what that does is that brings in a lot more detail. I can see tire tracks, I can actually even see deer trails that looks like it's going through this thicker vegetation or this taller vegetation here. Another layer we have is going to be our LiDAR layer. It's one of my favorite layers. If I click on that, that's going to take me into a view that's all of a grayscale. And how you read a LiDAR layer is the lighter it is, the flatter it is, the darker it is, the steeper the angles of the terrain are. Now, you can see a creek running through a flat bottom here. You can see these mountains coming together in this valley. Another really cool thing about the LiDAR layer is it sees through vegetation. So on the previous satellite imagery, I couldn't see these logging road trails through the satellite imagery itself. But with LiDAR, I can actually see through that vegetation, which is a really cool feature. Now, we also have different topo ones and contour ones too. So if you want to use like the basic satellite layer and add contour lines, you can simply click that and you can see all those contour lines show up. One other really cool feature is going to be the view in 3D. So if we're back on, say, the Pro layer or even the basic layer, and I go down to the bottom, that orange plus symbol, if I click on that, the top there it says Turn on 3D Maps. Once I click on that, you can actually see how it changes the terrain to almost like a bird's eye view, and you can see the actual elevation changes with those contour lines, which is pretty cool. It allows you to visualize how that land lays out a little bit easier. To simply turn that off, we go back to that plus symbol and then click the button that says Turn off 3D Maps. Now, I'm going to navigate back to Michigan by simply clicking that arrowhead in the bottom, and then I'm going to go into some state layers. If I click on the Map Layers button once again and navigate down to the state layers, you can see all 50 states listed. If I happen to go down to Michigan, which I already have open here, you can see a couple different layers. One of the ones I'm interested in is the public lands open to hunting. Now, you have to remember every state has its own unique layers, so not every state is going to have the same layers as one next to it. But Michigan happens to have this one. So if I click into there, it gives me another set of options. I can turn on state game, wildlife areas, state forests, state parks, U.S. Forest Service, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and U.S. National Park Service. Now, the reason I would want to click on all of these is because there's certain areas around different states that you're allowed to hunt. Sometimes if you just click on U.S. state lands and you don't click on forest lands, you're not going to see all those options out there. Now, if I zoom out, you can actually see all the different public land open to hunting in Michigan. You can see there's quite a bit. We happen to be a pretty lucky state when it comes to public land hunting opportunities. You have to remember, you want to click all of those on so you can see all of these opportunities. If you happen to miss one, you won't see every single opportunity out there.